So for the fur, one thing that I wanted to do was, let me bring up some of the reference. So the lions, they have this sort of dark fur where the claws are. Some it's more visible than others, but you can see here around the claws there's some dark fur. So I wanted to add that in here. So what I did was a very similar thing. Alright, so I have the RGB of the fur, and I did a color correction. Really brought the gamma down to be quite dark. And I have a toe mask here. What did I do here? Oh, and what I did here was I was crunching the values because I actually wanted it to affect a smaller area than what the texture map was giving me. So I was crunching the values so that it'd be a really small section. And then I did have a color correction. So this one is darker and that's being plugged into the root, while this is being plugged into the tip color. I have a broad speck and low intensity. And I also did add a bit of randomness, so this will, every other fur will be have slightly different diffuse hue and saturation. This is really helpful. And with that toe mask, I also wanted to bring down the speck in that area. It wasn't looking correct. It was still being bright because of the speck and the transmission, the light coming through. So what I did was, this was just to invert that mask. So the claw part would be black and everywhere else would be white. And then I just used another fit node just so it would make sense to me. And I brought up the darkest value from 0 to be 0.2 just so it's a little bit lighter, so there is some speck coming through. And I plugged that into the transmission and the root speck color. And then that's how I got the slightly darker fur on the paws. Alright, and for the mane, this is actually the reference of the lion that I like the best. I was kind of scared to do a typical African lion because I was scared to be compared to Lion King. So I thought this one, the coloring was interesting. But anyways, you can see there's darker hair on the ears and the mane, and usually you can see their elbow tufts, and this part is a lot darker. So mane, here we go. Yeah, so just again really similar. Like I was given a mane mask. Shout out to my friend Javi. He did an amazing job on the textures and really helped me out with this. So I had a color correction for the dark mane parts, and here I have the mane mask, and I'm using that to mix between the two with having a color correction for the roots. And then I used that same mask and same thing, I inverted it and brought it up a bit and plugged it into the speck so it wouldn't have so much light coming through it and be so shiny. And that's pretty much it for the shaders. I did the same thing for the elbow, and eyelashes and whiskers I just did straight white and almost black for the eyelashes, and the tail I just used the texture and didn't do anything crazy with that.